Welcome Sagittarius, Capricorn, to your mid-month reading for June. Hope you friends are doing great out there. If you friends like this, please like and subscribe. Okay, friends, let's see what's going on with you. And mid-month. Getting straight into your energy of what you're thinking, feeling, or the energy surrounding you. Two worlds coming out. Okay, this card is talking about how your spirit directs you and how you focus on spiritual growth, and also by living in two different kinds of worlds, right? So you can take it from a different perspective as well. It could be like your work life versus your home life, your love life versus work, those type of things, where you have to kind of separate your life into two different areas. And sometimes it feels like you often have to let one go in order to embrace the other. So there's kind of a push and pull scenario going on. If you have to work a lot, then you don't have a whole lot of time for romance. So you might be pushing one back a little bit more than the other one, depending on where you're coming from. Okay, so just remember that don't worry about this. Just try to integrate as much as you can between the two worlds, right? Trying to balance them out is really what this is about. Trying to keep the two worlds balanced. Okay. Sometimes it's like, I wish I could have more time to date, but I work so much. Sometimes I wish I could have time for fun, but I work so much. So this is literally saying it's okay. You can separate the two and balance them out so you can have both, right? Because the number is 2. It's the 2 of Wands, so you can find that balance. Okay, just breathe. Just breathe while doing so. Take the time to, also balance out the intuition versus just your regular mental thinking mind. By just breathing, that will allow you to be able to think about the situation, get creative with how you're going to balance the two worlds out. So that way you can, you don't feel like you're just doing one thing all the time and never being able to really get to the other world. Well, it could be also keeping people out a little bit, right? Feeling like you're only giving this much time to this, right? Maybe you're only giving so much time to one person, right? Or maybe you even need to give time to two people, right? Maybe for some of you, it's like, I work so much on this, I would like to spend more time with my kids, but it seems like I'm only spending more time with maybe this child than this child, or something, you know what I mean? However it is, especially if you have teenagers versus little ones, maybe you need to spend more time with the teenagers than just the small ones, right? Take it how it resonates. There's so many different scenarios. Getting straight into the situation, you have the present is move. You have blossom in their recent past. And in the near future, you have sadness and isolation. It still feels, though, like a lot of it is really making time for a loved one. A lot of times we can't date and can't really do those things and give that kind of attention because work always has to come first. Right? Because if I don't work, I don't have money. And if I don't have money, then I'm not living, right? And I'm not going to put myself out in the streets. I mean, we have to, a lot of times we think that way, right? So making a little more time, putting a little more effort out there for the ones we love and trying to really balance that. And could even be stress too. Maybe you're giving too much at school. If you guys are in school, in college, and you have to go to work, maybe you're imbalanced in that as well. Not feeling like you have time. So in the recent past, there was this blossoming. You have, this, everything is going wonderful. It feels like, you had everything at your fingertips. Everything is going and moving the way you want it to. Yeah, building. You're building an empire. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And everything is building beautifully over here, right? It's blossoming, it's transforming, you're awakening, the possibilities, the direction, you have the growth. Everything that you have is going the way you want it to do. And you're making good judgment calls. It's the same as the judgment card. So yeah, you're making wonderful decisions and going in great directions. Something happened over here though, where something got a little pushed together, and it feels like now you're, being pulled in two different directions over here with the two worlds. But you were building an empire, a love, all of it, right? Everything's going great. Everything's blossoming the way you want it to be. And you're completely involved in both situations. So whatever situations you had at the time, it was great. And maybe at that time, though, maybe one of these worlds didn't exist. Maybe that's one of the things, too. Maybe you were just going to work and everything was great. Maybe you got this you moved into love, and maybe that's what's pulling you, right? In the present right now, you're like, but I made this move, and now I'm being pulled into two different separate directions, and I'm trying to find this balance, and it's really stressful. It's like really stressful trying to take on both situations at once. That is a huge possibility as well. So with the move over here is the Chariot, and you're just, going in both directions. But now I could only imagine that moving is like should be probably an upside down card, only for you feel like you're being torn apart over here. One's pulling you on the right arm and the other one's pulling you in the left arm. Okay, clarify on the move. It says the move is the Six of Keys, which is the Six of Swords upside down with the iridescent moon. It really coming in over here. And it's in reverse. And it's saying, well, this is not exactly the way I wanted this to go. I didn't expect it to be that way, right? It's showing the phase of the decrease. It's showing that pulling apart. It's showing that you're, not feeling stable. It feels like you're moving around too much. So take a deep breath, rest, and know that it's time to increase your return. So this says take a deep breath. This says take a deep breath. And it is, this way you can try to figure out the answers that you're looking for. Because over here you built up an empire. You were doing great. Then you have this new thing that comes in and it's just pulling you apart. So clarifying on the iridescent moon right now in the present. Trying to figure out new ways. Yeah, with the Queen of Wands, you're trying to figure out these new creative ways. There's that creativity coming in again. Trying to figure out new creative ways to keep things balanced. Wow, it's a challenge. Yeah, it really feels like this is really a big challenge for you right now. Yeah, and now you don't feel justified the way that you were feeling justified before. And you feel like there's maybe some unfairity going on. Maybe you feel like you're being a little unfair to one world versus the other world, right? Somebody's not getting the attention. Maybe you even feel like it's unfair to you to have to try to maneuver around all these things. But it does feel more like you feel like you should be getting attention to one world a little bit more than maybe you're giving, right? So you're trying to really balance this out with the Queen of Coins over here. Trying to find your prosperities and your happiness and really nurturing where you feel you're getting a lack of nurturing. Yeah. You're holding tight to these ideas. Yeah, it feels like you're just kind of holding back. I feel like for some of you are holding back a little bit still in the two worlds because you're not sure exactly which way to move. You know where you want to be. You just haven't figured out the answer right now. And you could be dealing with a Leo. Maybe you feel you're not giving the Leo enough attention and you're trying to give them more attention, but it feels like maybe work is beckoning you at this time and it's really, busy. And you just cannot, it's a challenge to get to this Leo or this Capricorn or this Libra. I do have Capricorn twice. I have a Libra and I do have Leo a lot. So except for the majority of it could be this Leo or this Capricorn. But yeah, it feels like you're still holding tight in the one world, even though you would like to give more. Yeah, but you haven't done so. You're not doing so right now. You're not changing the process right now. You're just kind of breathing and trying to take it all in, trying to figure out where to go. It's not persistently moving. You haven't changed anything. But you know, it feels like you know, though, right? You know, Sag Cap, that you need to change something. Something needs to change, right? For the Nine of Cups. Right now, it just feels like you're kind of going after your own kind of happiness right now. But you want the overall Nine of Cups, right? You want both. You just haven't figured out how to do this just yet. Feels like with the iridescent moon and, you know, upside down also, it feels like, well, there's not even enough time in the day for me to try to balance this out right now. My phone's ringing off the hook. People are calling, this, that, the other. I gotta go, go, go. So it does feel like there's this go, go, go thing over here, but then you have this sadness and isolation over here, which I do not like. With the three over here that's the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is definitely this disappointment, this sorrow, this having a trust issue, along with some healing. This card just wants you to understand that it's important to acknowledge the accompanying sadness and feelings of loss. Feeling like there's a huge disappointment. And it does feel like it's because maybe you are either being strung away from this person, or they feel sad because they're not with you, or you guys just cannot be together as much as you would like to be together, and so it's causing this sadness and isolation away from one another. I do feel like it's a person versus job. It's really what I'm feeling. Clarify on the sadness and isolation, please. Sagittarius, Capricorn. Loving elementals. With the Three of Roses over here, is this same as Three of Cups upside down. There is this very much this sadness, this loss. Not feeling like you're getting to your happiness that you want. Feeling like you didn't take the initiative fast enough. Over here, you're really stuck and you're trying to figure out things that you just feel like I said, that you don't have the time to incorporate these two things for these two worlds to collide into one to get balanced. They're just very separated. And it's going to take a toll over here in the near future with the 3-3. The 3-3 is, well, number one, you've got 2 3s going on over here, which is harmony. We'll just bring that out right now. But you have one that's disharmony versus the harmony. And they're both pretty much, you know, talking about disharmony. Where this is not making you feel, this is not where you want to be. Okay, this is just not where you want to be. Clarifying on the sadness, isolation, and the Three of Roses in the near future, please. Seek the truth is upside down. So where you need to seek the truth, might as well just put it right side up because it doesn't really much matter with these cards. They don't really need to, but it is literally telling you you need to seek the truth. But like I said, with these cards, they could be up, right side up, upside down, doesn't matter. It's literally telling you, though, with the Seven of Swords, it's time for you to seek the truth and that, you know, and start questioning what's going on and how you're going to make this equal and how you're going to give this equal attention. Okay? It is now time to actually question the motives of what is your motive. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that you really want? Look, she's like opening the veil over here. And this is interesting too, because you have, it reminds me of the two worlds. You have this, we'll say this person is work, this person is the love. Take it how it resonates, whatever your two worlds are. But you're going to tear the veil in the middle because you need to seek the truth to figure out how to get this together. Figure out how you're going to do this. Otherwise, you're just going to, you know, allow yourself to, you know, just be sad. put yourself into this kind of vulnerable position that you're allowing yourself to stay in of disharmony. So you're going to have to really open up and try to figure this out and try to work this out for yourself in the near future. Because if you continue to allow the two worlds to be separate and pulling on you, you're always going to be sad. And the other person is too. Yeah, you need to figure out where the passion is and how to move back to the passion and be passionate about ripping this veil to bring these two worlds, together and really learn and really seek. There it is, seeking the truth, seeking the knowledge, learning on what it is that I can do. How can I be more passionate towards, we'll say my Leo, and we have my fire sign, right? Whoever. How am I going to do that? Right? Because right now I'm just in disharmony again. It's like, how many disharmony cards are we going to have? You know, and right now it doesn't feel like you in the near future have the patience. You're going to have to take the patience to want to seek the truth to be able to make this harmonious. The problem is going to be, for most of you, time is an essence. It's going to be about time. Because if you really are just the architect and you're running around building an empire over here, right, with work, and work calls, and this calls and that calls, and you have all these priorities and stuff that you have to do, it's going to be very hard. Yeah. And it's just going to end up toxic in the end. And it's just giving you toxicness. It's actually controlling you. And you're allowing just this one world to control you, where you need the nurturing and the love of the situation, right? And you do it because it's saying you still don't have the clarity of how to do this. You still haven't found the time. You still haven't found the patience to get to where you want to be. So, yeah. So right now would be a good time when you're already in this energy of knowing that this is where you're supposed to do. Right now would probably be the best time to sit down, relax, breathe, and try to figure out, how am I going to fix this so I don't end up over here? This is not written in stone. You can change that, right? That way I can bring them together so I don't have to go through the sadness and the isolation, and I don't have to put them into sadness and isolation either, right? Now, if this is the other way around for the cross watchers, and Sagittarius is doing this to you, this is going to be an interesting thing, because how are you as a cross watcher supposed to make Sagittarius do this? How are you going to, you know what I mean? It's very interesting from a, other's point of view. Or maybe you as a cross-watcher are doing this to Sagittarius, then you can fix this scenario. But I think for those of you who are cross-watching, this is going to be very interesting, because you're going to say, yeah, that's what Sagittarius is doing, but I don't know how we're going to do that. Bonding. That's the only thing I think of, guys, is maybe bonding together. Maybe making them realize this is what you're doing, I mean, if you don't want them knowing you watch tarot or however it is, it doesn't matter. You can just say, hey, you know what? My intuition is saying, this is what you're doing. I know what you would like to do. Maybe we can sit down for a second, and try to fix that. But as it says, time is an issue. So, you say, oh, I don't even know how, because they won't even talk to me. They don't really talk to me right now because they're busy bees. Yeah. It's going to be a rough one for the cross-watcher, definitely. Because for the cross-watcher, it's kind of a nightmare. Yeah. And it's almost like with the Six of Coins, I don't really know what to do, because I'm not holding the strings. I'm not really the puppet master over here. Cap is, right? Cap is, because they're the ones that are not texting me back. They're the ones that are putting me out into the cold. They're the ones that are not doing the things they're supposed to be doing. I'm just the one over here dreaming about them, thinking about them, and wondering when they're going to come back. I'm trying to change the situation, but it's going to be harder for you. Yeah. It's going to be harder for you, my friends. So that was for both sides of you guys. Because I just feel like it was, I would say, even for you cross watchers, just breathe. Just breathe and wait. Because I do see a lot of nurturing, and I do see this, everything's going great. I just say breathe and be patient. see what the angels have to say. There is success here. You can do this, but it's up to you to find the time. When you know you have a little bit of time, maybe before you go to bed at night, you know, make that extra effort or something. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you already write them at night anyways, you know, and you, however it is, but listen to your intuition. But it's going to have to be really seriously up to you to make that, give that extra stretch, right? Okay, and listen to your intuition as much as possible. Okay, and that was it for you, my friends. Until next time, peace and love. Bye.